Hey, in this short lecture, we're going to discuss types of conflict. So, one of the first forms of conflict we'll discuss today is image conflict. And an image conflict is a conflict with another person about one's sense of oneself. Now, this can occur for any number of reasons, but oftentimes this happens because of misconceptions, right? Misconceptions that people may have about you, or misconceptions that you may have about yourself. So, at its heart, at base, image conflict is a disagreement about self definition. So, you think of yourself one way, but perhaps someone else thinks about you another way. And so, you run into an image conflict with that person. So, here's a little example that I think is interesting. Check this out.
Here you go.
What is it? It's a gopher. So you can reach stuff. It makes things a lot easier.
This is for me. It's a phone.
Oh, I can see that.
I just thought, we thought that it would make things easier.
Oh, thank you, Karen.
There's nothing wrong with making things a little less hard on yourself.
You know, Karen's right, Dad. You've worked hard your whole life. Maybe it's time you started thinking about taking it easier. That's another thing, Dad. You really should get rid of the coffin nails. But, now, we're thinking about the house. You know, with Mom gone, it's got to be a lot to maintain around here, let alone clean. And, I don't know, you're here all alone.
Yeah, no, there are these great places now, these communities where you don't have to worry about mowing the lawn or shoveling snow, where, the people are like you, active and alert, but are alone and would benefit from being around folks their own age.
Oh. Yeah, Dad, look, you gotta check it out. We brought some brochures. These places are nothing like what you think they'd be. They're great.
Beautiful.
They're really nice. They really are. I mean, these are top-notch, like, resorts. It's like staying in a hotel, practically.
They're beautiful.
They really are.
Yeah.
They take care of everything. They'll clean up. They're really nice.
Oh, they have wonderful stores. You can buy new shoes.
They're amazing. They really are.
You have a good time. Play some golf, maybe.
Meet other people. Kicking us out on his birthday. I told you this was a bad idea.
I know, you were right.
You won't let anybody help him.
So, what we saw there was an example of an image conflict, because what's happening in this scene is that Clint Eastwood obviously views himself or thinks about himself in one way, but his kids think about him in another, right? They think of him as an old guy who needs a bunch of help, and obviously he still thinks of himself as an able-bodied person who can easily navigate the world and doesn't need to worry about going to live in a retirement home or having big numbers on his phone so he can see them. So that's an example of an image conflict. Now we can also have content conflicts, and these are conflicts that revolve around issues. These can also be called substantive conflicts. So these are generally divided into two subcategories. So we can have content conflicts regarding public issues. Now these are issues usually outside of a relationship that can cause a content conflict. Or we can have these kinds of conflicts related to private issues. And these are issues related to a relationship, and they take place inside, I should say, the relationship, right, that can cause a content conflict. We also can experience value conflicts. Now, these occur when the content is specifically about a question of right and wrong. So there are some issues that spring to mind quickly that generate value conflicts between people. These include things like abortion, gun control, immigration, right? These are really sort of hot button issues that revolve around questions of morals or ethics, questions of what people consider to be right and wrong. And so disagreements about things like abortion often hinge, again, on ethics and on morals, on what people consider to be right and wrong. And so as a result, they experience value conflicts. We also sometimes run into relational conflicts. Now, a relational conflict is one that focuses on issues concerning the relationship between two people. So, for example, if you're dating someone and you find out that they've been cheating on you, this would be a relational conflict. Now, meta-conflicts are conflicts about the way conflict is conducted. I feel like I've said conflict 8,000 times, by the way, in the past 10 seconds. So meta-conflicts are disagreements about the way conflict is conducted, and these oftentimes occur in long-term relationships. So an example of a meta-conflict might be like, oh, well, every time we fight, you just run away and don't respond and ignore me, right? So what you're doing there is you're commenting on how you conduct disagreements, right? You're fighting over the way that you fight, and that's what makes it a meta-conflict. Now, many conflicts are serial in nature, meaning that they happen again and again. And usually they have no real resolution. There's no resolving these issues. And unfortunately, all of us seem to engage in these kinds of conflicts. When you watch an older married couple, for example, folks that have been married a long time, you'll notice that they seem to fight about the same things again and again and again. And this is, unfortunately, just part of human nature, right? For example, couples who get divorced, they don't have one fight and then decide to go to divorce court. Indeed, they have the same fight over and over and over again, right? They fight about money over and over and over again. And it's the same argument every time, but it never gets resolved. There's never a way to fix the problem. And so when this occurs, this is known as serial conflict. All right, so that does it for types of conflict, and next time we'll talk about some of the misconceptions or myths about conflict and communication. Thanks for checking this out.